Welcome to the Football Show live on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. We've got Scott Allen and Tam McManus here with me in the studio. Delighted that you could join us, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button and join the football family on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. And if you want to get all the breaking news, you can do by downloading the app as well. And the good news, if you download the app, I just thought I'd enlighten everybody of the fact that if you download the app and you go all the way to the bottom, you can hit contact, and in there you can record a message about your team, an opinion, anything at all. It'll drop into us on a video and we might feature you on the programme, which would be great. So it gives you a chance really to leather the likes of yourself, Tam.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, you can take a selfie, drop in a message, type a message in, or indeed video yourself. And if you are on the show, we'd love to hear your opinion. It's your opportunity to tell us what you think about your team or certain issues in Scottish football. There's lots to talk about in the show, and we're going to talk about 9 days to go in the transfer window. Matt O'Reilly could be on his way out next couple of days possibly, and the big question for Celtic fans is who is in. Killie Hearts are in the playoff for European football. There's a sad farewell from Sven-Göran Eriksson, and we'll talk to Tam. Wayne Rooney in a headlock. It's a great story. I can't wait to hear it, and you can get the inside track on that story from Tam a little later on. So there's lots of transfer talk that we will be discussing. We'll hear from some fans of Scottish Premiership clubs on the type of player that they would like in before that window closes as well. So I'm hearing Matt O'Reilly, next couple of days, confirmation of his departure. I think because there's only one team at the table, because Atalanta are no longer there, my sources tell me Brighton are playing hardball, looking to get him for about 20 million plus add-ons. Deal done. Celtic looking to obviously bring in the likes of Arne Engels, the 20-year-old from Augsburg, and Luke McCowan from Dundee.
Is that Luke McCowan one doing the rounds now, yeah?
Yeah.
Listen, I think the quality that Matt O'Reilly has showed, especially with all the transfer talk and how he's performed for Celtic so far, it's going to be a huge loss, obviously, to the starting 11, because I think he is a key component in terms of how Celtic play, and you've seen that as the weeks have went by. So yes, there'll be players to replace him, but it's going to be a tough job. It even took Matt O'Reilly a while to kind of settle into his role at Celtic. So listen, I'd imagine they've really sounded these players out and feel like these could be the guys to replace them.
Yeah, whatever the eventual figure that's put out there, I mean, listen, it doesn't really bother anybody. They can suggest it's 25, they can eventually pay 20, or there's add-ons into the deal, whatever it is. For a 1.2 million outlay for Celtic, it's good business.
Yeah, it's fantastic business, and Celtic have been brilliant at that over the last 5-10 years. Buying low and selling high when the players are at the peak of their powers. He's been a tremendous signing from MK Dons. He's came up, he's really blossomed as a player. As Scott said, it took a little bit of time to settle in, but a real top player now, and it just shows you that the calibre of clubs that are in for him, the money they're talking. And I think he's going to go now. I think that Brighton and Celtic will come to some sort of agreement, and Celtic had better have players in the back burner to come in, because the Celtic fans are not going to Celtic fans are not going to be happy by the way if they're not.
Oh no, they're waiting.
Three or four players to come in, but
Three or four.
I think so. I think they're going to bring two midfield players in now, Peter, and I still think they need a striker
Bernardo
and a left back.
Bernardo comes in and
yeah, probably
gets a proper run at it.
I still think he wants. Potentially, for me, striker, two midfielders. If you listen to what the manager says, if O'Reilly goes, centre back, left back, and and by the way, off the back of it, if you were a Celtic fan getting up this morning, you're going, Kyogo, Man City, what? Do you know?
That's come out of left field, that one. I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's Fabrizio Romano.
It is, but he's actually a fit for that team in terms of his style of play, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but listen.
That'd be a massive blow for Celtic. Imagine losing Kyogo and O'Reilly. It's really.
Can you imagine Hatate leaves?
And if Man City, if that's genuine interest, I'd be on my phone to the agent going, get me to Man City. No disrespect to Celtic.
Yeah.
What an opportunity to go and play under Pep and play, in Man City. So
he's exactly what kind of Pep looks for and one of these strikers as well, isn't he?
It's one of those interesting ones, because I think more often than not, I think a lot of people are looking and saying, okay, yep, you know, a lot of Celtic fans, like every club, buys into the bring players in and sell them on for a profit. I don't think they'll get any problem with that. I think the real interesting part over the next 9 days is quite simply who's going to be coming in. That's where I think a lot of people, I think, you know, if you listen to the word, you know, and speaking to Celtic fans, they're certainly looking and thinking they've almost had their fill of this policy. There are a lot of angry Celtic fans at the way it's going. They're not angry with the ones for the future. They're just angry that there's too many of them. They want to see a bit of experience, a wee bit of quality, and they're not buying into the excuses. So this is why this next 9 days is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it will, but I think when you look across the board in terms of when they have maybe spent a bit more than they've wanted to, it's not worked out. So it wouldn't surprise me if Celtic go down looking for the next Mattarelli again, and then that is their transfer policy. There's no getting away from that, and I can't imagine Michael Nicholson or Peter Lawwell being swayed by that, because at the end, when they're looking at their books, they're looking at league titles and cups won. Yes, the Champions League is going to be that's a huge draw for the fans, and that's where the fans want the improvement. But I just can't see them going away from the structure and the policy that they've kind of got in place, because at the end of the day, it does work for them.
Okay, I've got one name in my head that's been a big money signing. It's been a flop.
Go on.
Have you got one? You just made that. You made that broad generalisation, and I'm saying to me, okay, if they've paid
in terms of age,
if they've paid out money in excess of what they normally pay out, who's been a flop?
7 million for Julian.
A Yeti.
A Yeti.
A Yeti. And,
a Yeti, 5 million.
And the guy that christened the yellow wall when he came in.
The yellow wall.
He was more like Edward Scissorhands. Barkas.
Oh, Barkas, yeah, Barkas. He was poor. I would go as far as to say, you know, and this is the defence of the board who were looking and saying, look, there are some players that we've spent a bit of money on haven't worked out. I don't think O worked out. I don't think O was good, you know, good value for money. You know, so you're looking, you're saying to yourself, there is a balance to strike between what market are they in, what market can they afford, and is that market a gamble where you're sweating, saying, you know, is he good? The boy that they're looking at in Arna Engels is 20 years of age. Obviously, you know, some people have been giving him rave reviews, but at 20 years of age, he fits the blueprint for Celtic because he's a sellable asset.
Yeah, I think they would maybe sway in the older kind of age bracket, try to get some frees in to maybe complement the younger players. I think they would rather do that than go for maybe a 27-year-old, the 7-8 million, maybe 9 million mark that I think Celtic fans want for a player that they think. But see, they guys in their prime, they want to be playing in England, in Spain, and France.
All of them. What, are they all on a mass exodus? I mean, there's got to be some out there who are that wee bit of quality.
But it's not a gamble though if they're coming to play in Scotland.
Yeah. What if they're experienced and they're coming to the end of their contract and they're thinking, I'll have a wee swan song. I'll have a wee Joe Hart. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just goalkeepers.
No, of course.
And by the way, this definitive that they're just not out there is just a load of nonsense. By the way, a big thank you to William Smith, who says, what about Raphael Shite? We're really going back, aren't we? We're really going back now for that name. Although he did live up to it. But
is there any players that, like, round about that age bracket that you think Celtic could go out and pay the money for and would come off the top of your head?
That's an even better question. That's a good question. Who do you get that's an experienced person that's coming to the end of their career that's I hate to say it because Joe Venglis got Lubomir Moravcik and everybody sways towards him, but there aren't that many geniuses like that you suddenly. That's what I call Celtic winning the lottery, getting him.
One of the ones I was thinking about was Jamie Vardy. He just signed a new contract with Leicester and played the other night. He was the one I was thinking about. But Rangers getting Jermaine Defoe. You know, probably through the Steven Gerrard factor.
I like Jermaine Defoe. I thought
he was excellent at Rangers. But somebody in that ilk, maybe 33, 34, that scored a lot of goals.
That's going to be a low transfer fee, I think. What we seem to be in, I think they want to actually spend. The fans want the board to actually spend round about up to 10 million for a striker around about 26, 27. I just think the players who maybe are like regular goal scorers in these leagues around Europe, I just find it hard for them to be attracted to Scotland.
Yeah, listen, that is another aspect of it that I think is a very good point. It's quite simply, when you've got options, if you're at the end of your career, or are you in such an outrageous wage bracket that you're never going to come to Scotland, they want to go elsewhere. I mean, earlier in the season, I thought to myself, wow, now I'm not suggesting for a minute Celtic can afford it. He's probably on an absolute, fortune. But it's like a Marco Reus, somebody who's won everything, or an experienced player who's been over the course.
You went to MLS today?
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's that type of.
Way to Los Angeles, I think.
It's a type of player who's at the end of his career, who's a 32. It's not Marco Reus. He might be on 100,000.
But they ain't going to. Celtic are not going to break their wage structure. I just can't see them.
Yeah,
I just can't see them do
well, listen, it's a great question, because it's something that we're obviously will become more and more prominent as you get to the end of the window. Is there an experienced player out there? Is there someone you can think of that suddenly you think would be good business for any club? Because every now and then there's a Pasquale Bruno that joins our Hearts. There's a Frank Sozi, as you well know. Was there an experienced player that you can think of that you played with that you thought,
Carlton Cole?
Well, did Carlton Cole not win a league medal, a League Cup medal, or something like that?
Yeah, he was there when we won the league.
Yeah.
Brilliant for the changing room.
Was he?
Yeah, great. Lovely guy.
Yeah, it's a brilliant way of you saying, but not really that great. Passed his best on the park.
Oh, just...
I'll give you another one.
Yeah, I did something.
Dion Dublin.
Dion Dublin, before that time.
Do you remember him? I think
what age did he come at?
Oh, he was older. He played in Celtic in a cup final. You look
He was
for
a bargain. Hunt.
Eh?
Bargain.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Every now and then you'll throw them in, and you just give them the 25-yard stare. But Luke McCowan, excuse me, coughing and dying.
1 million the value, and
yeah.
I just think where does he fit into the Celtic midfield? I think.
Does he fit in as a quota of a Scottish player in the European squad?
Yeah, I think he would do it. Just whether he's willing to go there and maybe accept not getting a lot of minutes, because where he's came from I think it was Ayr then to Dundee, he has kicked on massively. I think there would maybe be options down south for him where he goes in and plays a lot more regular football.
Yeah, and somebody has mentioned here Defoe, which I thought was good. Ramsey, failure. I didn't think he worked out at all. He did score a goal. Barton.
Yeah.
I think he's the biggest flop that's ever come up with Scotland in terms of his pedigree and how well he done, and the expectation levels for Rangers fans. He came up and was rubbish.
Yeah, don't hold back. I have to agree with you. I mean, he's up there. And by the way, we have in our office, a great laugh, because obviously Alison McConnell mentioned that it's a guy thing when you come up with your lists. I'm not sure it's a guy thing. I'll find out if everybody agrees. Is it a guy thing that you just come up with top 5s and top 10s when you go?
You love a top 10.
I absolutely love a top 10.
Absolutely love it, man.
I mean, I do, don't I?
Oh, who's your all-time fit? You've done it about 25 times in the last 2 years.
And do you want me to tell you the God's honest truth?
But
on the after dinner circuit, when we're out and we go and speak at dinners in the places, working men's clubs, you name it, right? If I've heard the speaker before, Ruffy says, there's an A4 sheet of paper, and Ruffy says, I can always tell when you've heard the speaker before, because I start writing down my all-time top 11s. And then I start putting them in position. I've got my world 11 off to a T. I just start writing it down. Not with you yet, Tam. You've got a couple of other stories that you've added in. But we like a top. I mean, who's the top 5 poorest players ever to come to Scotland is a great list, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You could come up with more than a few that really just haven't. They just haven't performed, haven't been up to it. I'm sure, Rangers, Celtic, Hearts and Hibs, they could all come up with it. Somebody says Ian Wright. Actually, it's funny, actually, I was raising money for a charity that I do regularly, Emmy Smiley's foundation. And Ian Wright was there. I couldn't resist. Oh, absolutely leathered him. 8 goals for Celtic. Well done, big man. You're a legend. But not here. Yeah, and lots of people say Roy Keane. There's certainly an argument for Roy Keane overall 6 months. Roy Keane actually just said it just didn't work out for him.
Not for him.
His legs
Didn't
were
he,
gone.
no, I think he said on one of the podcasts about travelling up to Barfield from Celtic Park, went to just
Wasn't having it.
wet. Aye, no for him.
Yeah, there's a whole wad of players that we can all think of. If Celtic need 4, possibly 5, arguing what do Rangers need, and it's interesting. Don't say 9 or you're going to get hammered. But they do need to.
Rangers really need.
They need to duck and dive in the window.
I still think they need another midfielder. I think that's an important striker. As we know, I think 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I just look at the depth of the squad as well. But that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Do you think they
That's
might?
not going to happen.
I mean, for me, the amazing thing about it, I mean, it's almost like the McCarthy situation at Celtic, where I was looking at players that you try and get out. You can't.
Is he still at Celtic?
No, I think it's up, or it's he's away. But it's like Cantwell's the same situation. It's one of those situations where you say, what is happening with that guy? Where is he going? Are you going to pay him? Is he coming back into the fold? What's happening with him?
They're getting paid an amount of money where if something doesn't tickle their fancy elsewhere, they don't need to leave, and that's what we spoke about before, about the problems of last summer.
Yeah.
They're now getting that's now bearing fruit now for Phil to come on and the squad, and it has a problem. These guys, when there was big games up, they're not even involved in the squad.
Yeah.
They're obviously on.
What's Alec Lowry doing? What's Yanis Hadji doing?
Alec Lowry's playing for the B team against Clyde.
I mean, surely Alec
Alex
Lowry's
21 now.
Yeah.
21.
Yeah, I don't think he's part of the plans, Peter.
No, I don't think he's part of the plans, but at that point you take the money and then you say to yourself, why don't you go and regularly play?
Well, Scots, I don't know if Scots, I've been in a situation before where you're at a club and the manager doesn't fancy you and you've got a contract and you're either going to play the reserves and bide your time until you get either an offer to go or you get a payoff, or you're just going to sit, Peter. And I think that you've got Hadji, you've got Cantwell's the 2 major ones for me. They're just going to sit and take their money, Peter, until Rangers come to them and say, listen, there's X amount to leave. Then they're just going to stay put unless their agent comes up and goes, listen, there's somebody in Spain or somebody in France.
And I bet it's a loan deal.
Aye, and then they're going to move, but they're just going to sit and take their money. It's difficult to get rid of them, Peter.
No, I accept that, and it happens at every level, because if you look at the deal at the moment that's allowed Ilkay Gundogan to head back to Man City on a free transfer, just so that Barcelona can sign, I think, Olmo.
Danny Olmo, yeah.
Yeah,
55 million.
So they want him off the books. They signed him from Man City. He's on a free transfer. He's been given a free transfer. Can you imagine his signing on fee? He must think I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
He is the luckiest guy now. He's getting to go back to Man City after having a wee spell at Barcelona. No, I think, in all seriousness, with the Rangers transfer, I genuinely don't think they can sign 3 or 4 players.
Until they get 3 or 4 out.
And I can't see them. I think if they go, it'll be loan deals. Rangers aren't going to come to Cantwell and Hadji's and offer you a payout. It's too much money up front.
Would you sell Dessers?
They can't afford to sell Dessers.
You can't, I agree with him.
Afford to sell Dessers.
Yeah.
Who's going to score goals for them?
They can't afford to sell Tavernier either. There's no structure there in place for these guys to leave, and something because of the problems that have came from the start of last season, and that is.
They can't afford to sell Dessers. He is. I mean, I don't think he's a great footballer, Peter, but he's a goal scorer, and they scored a great amount of goals for Rangers. If he goes, who scores goals for Rangers? You bailed him out the other night when he came on.
Yep.
You know, and he scored the goal in Kiev, in Poland, against Kiev. So I think he's a key player for Rangers just now, Dessers. I know a lot of fans are split on him and they don't think he's great, but I think he'll still score a certain amount of goals for Rangers this season. Guarantees that. And
yeah. So you'd have Dessers and then try and supplement him with another striker, whoever that may be.
I just think there's no quick fix for this. It's going to be a bit of pain, I feel, for Rangers fans over the next year or so until it kind of they managed to slowly but surely start to fix the books in terms of the playing squad and getting players in maybe a bit cheaper, some projects, but with a bit better knowledge about them.
Yeah.
Peter, they've got one big sellable asset, the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Who don't think it's a great. I speak to a lot of my mates are Rangers fans. Brilliant last season, but the tail end of last season, culminating in the goal in the cup final where they dropped it, and then started this season. I don't think he's been great, Peter. I think. Well, Rangers could go and sell. Say Rangers get 7 or 8 million for him.
Yeah.
That pays for a lot of players and gets players in the door, and they go and sign a free in England again, a Butland type.
Well, on the basis that they've got Liam Kelly there,
Yeah.
who I think is a good goalkeeper, but is he better than Butland? No. Is he good enough domestically? Yes. So, but it's whether sometimes the right time. There's timing, as you know, in fans and how you sell somebody out the door. Do you follow me?
Yeah, I understand. I think with the interview that Philippe Clement gave last week, and he spoke about obviously the comparison with the 1999 Manchester United squad, and obviously the young players coming through, but Rangers don't have young players. They don't have them coming through.
Yeah, yep. It's a big one.
Alex Lowry's 21. And he's got serious ability. I've seen him play. Really good footballer. Never that real run of games. You hear about one thing or another in terms of attitude, which is fair enough, but there's no question the boy's got ability.
Yeah.
Cole McKinnon, a few loan deals, on the bench here and there. So,
has Danilo got to step up?
Well, he's got. You would expect him to. He was a healthy fee as well. I can't see. Forget even all about the transfer. See the product on the pitch in terms of an organised Rangers team and a way of playing it. I've not been able to see it as of yet.
Yeah, okay. Give us your view on that. Players you'd like in, players you'd like out. We actually just asked a few fans at the weekend's games what their thoughts were.
I think I'm going to get hounded for saying this, but I'd quite like to see a wee Lawrence Shankland signing for the Rangers, and a wee bit more stability and a bit more creativity for the midfield as well.
A striker, definitely.
Somebody that's a bit potent inside the 18-yard box.
I don't think Watt's good enough. That's
there
my
you go.
opinion.
Aye, somebody a number 9 that's that kind of instinct in the box to try and get a few goals.
In defence, I think they need a left back. No offence against McKenzie. I think he's a terrific player. We need strengthening in defence just to make sure we keep everything tight back. We seem to have quite a few forward players.
I think we need somebody else in the midfield. Somebody like a Ryan Jack or somebody that just add a wee bit of steel to support the wee guys that we've got in there.
Maybe 1 or 2. Maybe a number 10. Someone that can get in behind the strikers, maybe, but.
I'd like to see them get a few of the players that don't want to be here out the door, and but bring some in that want to fight for the badge and do a job in the park.
Interesting to hear from the fans there, some Motherwell, Aberdeen, Rangers, Kilmarnock fans. Obviously, from my point of view, I don't like to shock anybody on the programme from time to time, but sometimes you have to make statements because you've got to protect the image of the company. This will be the last time that Scott and Tam will be on the show because they say that you can't have a number 10 anymore. Okay, you two dimwits, listen. We need number 10s.
I know
it's not as bad from him, but from you it's sacrilege. Honestly, have a word with yourself.
He's a 6 now. So that's deep.
No, I'm a goal scoring midfielder now.
Oh, aye, 2 and 2 for Kelty. Aye.
Busting by the strikers.
You're a disgrace. You really are.
No, what's a number 10 to you?
I like the manager saying, you're a number 10.
You're a luxury
free roll.
player.
Just roam about.
That's what I mean. That's not a position anymore.
Yeah. Or is it gone?
That's going to. See, when Messi retires, that's gone.
Yeah.
Guys who play obviously on the half turn and that balance. I understand what you're saying in terms of that type of profile, but the position where everybody else does the work and you just hang about waiting for the counter attack and play it, that you don't get in teams now.
Yeah.
You don't get in teams.
What are you on about? You're playing for Kelty.
I'm not playing like that. I'm part of the coaching staff. I need to run about.
You know, we are going to see you, by the way. And by the way, you'll see
GPS on him, by the way.
I know, you'll see us two at Kelty next week. We're going, hey, the number 10, when are you going to run?
I've got all the GPS stuff on the phone.
Gotta have a number.
Keys and all that.
You've got to have a number 10, by the way.
No, listen.
Jeez, honestly.
What team plays with 10 now, really?
Eh?
Bar Miami.
Who plays
Messi.
with that iconic type of player? I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know what?
Would you describe O'Reilly as a number 10?
No, he's not a number 10. No, he's not a number 10.
Celtic don't play with a number 10.
Yeah, he's not a number 10 in my book. I must admit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with a list.
God loves a list.
I'm going to
Top
give
10 number 10s.
top 10 number 10s still playing, and I'm going to ask managers if there's any number 10s still playing in the game. There's got to be.
The Rui Costas, the Riquelmes, all the type. All the type.
How good?
Amazing.
You know what I mean?
Incredible.
Their camp behind Henry.
I mean, they're just a joy. If we are in a generation of kids now who come up and don't get the chance to play a number 10 role, the game's a bogey. It's just terrible.
Well, if you're in the right team playing number 10, it can be amazing. Just going side to side, wee ball.
If John McGinn and Dylan McGeer's behind you, you can play that way.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is why I'm amazed at him. Honestly.
No, I'm describing modern football now
Yeah.
as that type of player that you like.
Yeah.
There's not many of them anymore.
Paul says, Peter, why would Celtic knock back 21 million and add-ons to take less from Brighton? Listen, Paul, all I'm saying to you is that the windows move on. You hang out for a certain amount of money, you play hardball, a club then decides, well, we're not going any further, we walk away from the table, and suddenly you find that you're at the table. I mean, it's no skin off my nose whether Celtic get 25 million or 20 million. When you hear a story and you get little snippets of people telling you this is what they're doing, I'm just relaying to you, Paul, what people are doing in the negotiations.
I think Celtic are looking for 25. I think that's a number.
See if they get 25, brilliant.
I think that's a number.
See if Celtic got 20 million plus add-ons. I still think brilliant. I
think you would rather have a 10 or 20% sell on than an extra couple of million.
Yeah, well, listen.
I think he could.
I think Celtic already have that.
I genuinely
go again from there to Liverpool or a Man United.
Yeah, I genuinely don't care what the deal is.
Hipster Brough deal, you got a sell under.
The new boss for that.
By the way, there were a few people who slaughtered you in our feed there, but I thought he's only just in. I'm not going to give him any, but it's.
Move on back.
I've had every bit of abuse you can probably get walking about anyway.
Yeah,
over the years. So.
Not as much as the tweet specialist here. He's getting them every day. Although I thought your tweet to Lenny yesterday was particularly harsh. You really are. You've got no compassion whatsoever.
I text him before that and says, "Sorry to hear about your job.
Is it okay?
See you Fridays."
Yeah, absolutely. You got on well with Lenny, didn't you?
Yeah, I did that.
But listen, of the other side, we talked about Celtic, particularly when you're talking about Rangers there. You look at the other teams. I mean, Hibs will be looking for players that they want to get off the books. Hearts as well might look. Hearts have got a big squad. They might look and say to themselves, how do you move these players on? How do you get them out the door? And who needs to come in? It's interesting listening to the Aberdeen fan there, looking at the type of players that they want. I can understand him saying defensive players because, if anything, Aberdeen shot themselves in the foot last season. Their defence was murder.
Yeah, there's a lot of positive, I think, from an Aberdeen point of view. And don't get me wrong, I think he would have noticed that when he got in and he would have knew where the work was needed. I think, in terms of Hibs, once again, it's kind of similar to Rangers, need to get players out. But I think the worry there would be they've spent money in terms of getting players in that play defence. They've had the goalie in, and right now it's not working, albeit they've had a really hard fixture list since the season started. So it'll be interesting to see what Hibs do in the coming days. I thought Luke McCowan to Hibs might have been an ideal one for kind of both parties, but some worries in there as well for me.
Yeah, as far as, thanks to Kenny, who is in Los Angeles, is a big Aberdeen fan, he says Drew Jarvie was a number 10. I think after Drew Jarvie, there must have been some right good number 10s that played for Aberdeen. I mean, I know Eric Black was number 10, but he was more one of those, strikers. He was just fabulous. He could hang in the air. But thank you, Kenny, for that mention there of Drew Jarvie. As far as some of the other clubs are concerned, I'm looking at the whole lot right now, and I'm going to give a mention to one player that I think is leaving now, as you get to that point where the manager just doesn't fancy you can't get regular football and you go elsewhere. St Johnstone are saying goodbye to Stevie May, who's going to join Livingston. Now, Stevie's 31. I mean, I think of Stevie as if he's been going on forever. I remember interviewing him for this programme easily 10, 11 years ago, and he was living in a flat with one of the St Johnstone players all those years ago. He's such a great lad. But I looked at the team that he's leaving, and he's the last of the cup-winning side from the first time around against Dundee United. If you listen to that team, Manus, Dave Mackay, Fraser Wright, Stephen Anderson, Brian Easton, Chris Miller, David Witherspoon, James Dunn, Michael O'Halloran, Stephen McLean and Stevie May was the side. He's the last of that cup side.
Yeah, and listen, he's a St Johnstone legend. I think he's won 3 trophies with them. Two Scottish Cups and a League Cup for St Johnstone.
Yeah.
An absolute club legend, and he's always been a streaky striker for me. He always went in patches where he was on fire.
Yeah.
And then he would go 10 or 15 games without a goal, and then he would score 10 and 7 or something. He's always been that type of striker, streaky, but great career at St Johnstone. And at 31, I thought he was older than that. I think he seems to have been out for ages, and he'll be joining big Ryan McGowan, who left for St Johnstone and went to Livingston as well. So Livingston just seem to be building a bad wee squad in terms of experience.
Yeah. The other thing about Stevie May was, for me, he was a really good player, but when he joined Preston and he got that bad injury, that really affected him.
Yeah, and we've seen that time and time again, I think, with players who getting injuries at the wrong times can really affect how your career path goes. I've known him a long time. When I was a youth player at Dundee United, it was myself and the St Johnstone boys and the Dundee all were in the same college class on a Wednesday, because they used to do a college course on a Wednesday. And there was like 25 of us in that class. I think there was like 15 players in that college class went on to have careers. So I've followed his career for a long time, and I've obviously played against him. But listen, Livingston might just be the place for him to get his love back again.
Yeah, I'm dying to know where Duke is.
What is Kenneth? Read that out.
What one?
Lennon for Arbroath.
Yeah.
What's he smoking?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're just doing the whole programme's about you getting a gag in. It was too good, but rubbish. Kenny says need cover at right back at Aberdeen. Devlin struggles against decent opposition. Wow, I think Nicky Devlin's one of the better players for Aberdeen. Kenny, do you agree? The big search for me is where's Duke? Where is the Duke, man? Where is he? It could be a programme on its own.
Could be Kevin Nisbet next, though.
Nobody's allowed to ask a question.
Yeah, Kevin Nisbet's been linked, I thought.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely certain that Dundee United, Hibs, teams like that would be after Kevin Nisbet. I think he done really well at Hibs. Seems to be out the picture at Millwall for whatever reason. Wasn't in the squad at the weekend, I noticed, so I think you'll find him on his way up to Scotland somewhere.
Yeah, and a great line here from Jason Ladd. Now, I'm going to read Jason Ladd's line out, if only for a certain generation who watched this show, because he said Lord Dukin. Lord Dukin. Now, Jason obviously gets that. People of 40 years and above get that, because quite simply, there was a person in the 70s, and it's one of these great mysteries. He disappeared.
Is that Lord Lucan?
And his name was Lord Lucan. So
play on
Dukin. Words. Hello, right. From the man who absolutely thrives on it, thick as mince. Lord Dukin, well done, Jason. I'm well happy with that one. Where is he? We don't know, but nevertheless, Aberdeen have got to try and get a few faces in as well. But the ones that Jimmy Tillene has got in, what a start to the season for the Dons, isn't it?
Yeah, they've been excellent. I think in forward areas they look really good. I know Duke would really add to that, but listen, if he doesn't turn back up, I think Kevin Nisbet, as much as I'd love him to go back to Hibs, I think I could probably see why he would want someone like Kevin Nisbet there, because his hold-up play is really good, and when he does get half a chance, he did take it when he was up here. Some of his goals and the variety of his goals were excellent. So Aberdeen fans have got something really positive to be looking forward to this year. Whereas on the Hibs end, I know we spoke about it at the start. I thought Hibs would have done really well this year. I know it's early doors, but one guy's came in and you can see what he's trying to do, and I still feel that David Gray is trying to find his best team. And when you're constantly talking about getting signings in as a fan base, and obviously all the pundits and everybody that's watching them, there's something not right there still, and I think that's worrying.
It's interesting you saying that, because I'm going to defend what I think is a growing number of moaning-faced fans about Stevie Naismith. And I think Stevie Naismith got them third last year, and they need to just belt up and let him get on with it. We'll hear from Craig Gordon shortly, but I think, you know, Stevie Naismith's got a side there that slowly but surely they've backed him.
Yep.
And I equally think the same of David Gray. For God's sake, man, if I'm suddenly employing somebody and saying, listen, you've got 7 programmes and you don't get it right, I'm bulleting you.
But that's where I feel he might not be getting the support. Because the performance on Sunday, he set his team up all week to go with a 5 at the back. He can't control the decision making on the part, and that's been a victim of some of the transfer windows over recent years. We're obviously trying to then mould a new back line amongst having a new goalkeeper as well. It's very difficult, and the fixtures haven't been nice to him. So the next 2 fixtures, I'm sure it's Dundee home, Killie away. This is the games where he needs to try and get the players need to kind of show their faith in David Gray and put on a performance for him and the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to talk Hearts against Viktoria Plzen. We're going to talk Copenhagen against Kilmarnock after the headlines.
Hi there, I'm Kerry, and today's your Daily News update on Wednesday the 21st of August, brought to you by Arnold Clark. Former Kilmarnock man Mark Riley feels there should be no complaints about the amount of games being played, as he feels the Rugby Park side have got what they wished for.
They've just got to get on with it and dig in, and that's what they're here for. This is what they wanted. They wanted these European ties. They wanted all these games at the start of the season. That's what the aim was last season, to finish high up in the league and qualify for Europe. That's the aim. So when that happens, I don't think you can complain too much.
And Kilmarnock's Rooney McKenzie expresses his excitement as the Rugby Park side take on Copenhagen in the Europa Conference League playoff tie on Thursday nights.
As a city I visited last year and absolutely loved, and it's a bit of a glamour tie for me. It's just a place I'm really looking forward to going. I've never been to the stadium. I went to a Champions League game when they played Celtic, and their away fans were unbelievable.
Finally, as the transfer window looms, Manchester City have expressed their interest in Celtic forward Kyogo Furuhashi. For all the latest breaking headlines, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel.
Yeah, give us your thoughts on the news headlines and of course some of the stuff that we've been talking about. Absolutely brilliant to get some of your messages through. And as I mentioned before, and it's something which Tam's a wee bit worried about, but if you actually go into the main menu on the PLZ Soccer app and you go to contact, just hit the contact button. You can put a selfie in, photograph, that would be a bit brave. Try and keep it sensible on this. You can video yourself giving us your thoughts on the transfer window, your team, whatever, and you can also send us a message as well. It'll drop in there and we'll be using some of your videos. So download the app and have a bit of fun with us. And if you are someone, I think you've got to be someone who's got an opinion, stands by the conviction of what you're going to say, because you do it, Tam. So if there's fans out there with a view, download the app and record yourself.
That's what we want to hear. We want to hear people with opinions. Get them on. We can argue the case.
Yeah.
But you've got to have the bottle to post it.
Well, absolutely, and we're only 2 games into the season, but what about your man here? I think he's settled in well.
Yeah, slow start. I thought came onto a game in the last 10-15 minutes.
I was wondering why Rooney McKenzie was in the Copenhagen end at Celtic Park.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I was thinking the exact.
Fans were brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. We must ask him. But the other thing, strangely enough, though, I mean, I've got my Borussia Dortmund sweatshirt on, much to the annoyance of Tam here, but I do like going to games, right across the board. Anywhere. I mean, that was the Champions League final against Real Madrid, which was an absolute joy. but I do like going to see lots of other teams. Is there a particular game as a footballer that you thought, I'm going to go as a fan with my boy, or go and see a game in Europe? Is there a game that sticks in your mind?
I've been to a few Champions League finals.
Yeah.
Chelsea and Munich, Drogba, main with the header.
Yeah.
Barca, Juve and Berlin. My dad, I was going to go to that final at the weekend, in the summer, sorry. My dad went to it, but I went on holiday instead.
Yeah.
I think off the top of my head, I don't know, I used to like going to Championship games. See when I was down south, I used to like that. I would take a drive. Andy Hardy used to live in Middlesbrough. Say if Leeds were someday were playing, we would kind of meet halfway and go to games if our team wasn't on that night. So not any off the top of my head apart from Champions League finals just because of the occasion, but I like Scottish football. If Scottish football's on the TV, I watch Scottish football.
Yeah.
I agree. I've always said that, Peter. I'd rather watch a Scottish Premier League game than an English Premier League game.
Yeah.
I think it's more honest about it, and I don't know, I prefer Scottish football.
I think you find a lot of boys in Scottish football that play in Scottish football and have came through the whole like our game.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But I've always loved, since I was a kid,
What's your
English
favourite
football.
Game? Best game you've ever been to? Out with Scotland?
Barcelona against Manchester United in Rome. Barcelona just dismantled them. Right. Ronaldo tried to be an individual, and Messi and Xavi and Iniesta. Messi scored with a header.
That's right.
And they just absolutely dismantled them. They were an absolute joy. They're, for me, and this is a great argument, let's have a list on this, but the best club side I've ever seen in European football.
That Barcelona side?
That Barcelona.
Yeah, absolutely.
I totally agree.
100%.
Whereas Hugh McDonald thinks, it's possibly the AC Milan side with Hullet, Rijkaard and Van Basten. They dominated for 3 years in European football.
What was that?
89.
89.
Yeah.
Not the same level of football, surely, in terms of the passing and that.
Yeah. Well,
this is defensive minded, weren't they?
They didn't lose goals, put it that way.
But the team was incredible.
It's such a good argument, isn't it? It's a great pub argument because of every generation. They would look and say to you, well, this side that dominated, Ajax dominated early 70s, mid 70s, Bayern Munich dominated, Barcelona, AC Milan. What's the greatest European club side ever? Some people of a certain generation would say, well, listen, if you were young, if Alex Ferguson was sitting here right now, he'd say, no, Real Madrid, 1959 to 1965. So
Celtic 67 team.
Not
a lot of people would argue that as well. They won everything that year.
Yeah, but for European dominance, although they did reach another final in 1970. But
so is Messi the best player you've seen in the flesh?
No, Pele.
No.
I've seen Pele playing for the Cosmos, and even at that age, he was still better than anybody else. No, absolutely sensational. Okay, so Viktoria Plzen against Hearts. I really want Hearts to keep this one alive and see them off in this playoff and get a huge kitty of money. I want Scottish football, to do really well, and I really would love to see Hearts, take this with a scruff of the neck, get it back to Tynecastle, get the place buzzing, and I don't think any player needs to be lifted for this game, according to Craig Gordon.
We've got a European game coming up.
Yeah.
Nobody should need lifted for that. It's a huge opportunity for us against a very good team, and we'll need to stick together, and we'll need to come out fighting and make sure that we do it in the right way. But yeah, we have to stick together as a squad and fight for one another to get what we want out of this coming week.
It's a strange situation, not a great start for Hearts, just needs a wee bit of time to get it all together with the new players.
Yeah, there was positives obviously in the opening day, but that's similar. That's maybe what Craig Gordon's touching on there. That they managed to get themselves up for that because Rangers coming to Tynecastle. It's a big game opening day, and then the two following performances haven't been good. We spoke last week, didn't we, that Falkirk that was going to be a real difficult game, and it proved that. And Falkirk were obviously well worth their win. So it's a huge game. It's a huge game for me. I think they just got to stay in the tie, get them back to Tynecastle. No easy task, right enough. A Europa League game, sitting second in the Czech league. So it's going to be difficult, but Stevie Naismith needs more out of his players for this one, and that is a hard ask, I think.
Yeah, a strange situation. We've witnessed this before with some Hearts fans who are never happy. They were never happy. You always felt as if they were on the edge with Robbie Neilson, and eventually he's gone. Stevie Naismith has got them to third in the league. You know, they had 20 wins, 10 wins at home, 10 wins away, and 10 defeats over the course of last season, and draws in the other matches. I'm dying to know. What are they looking for? Give the guy a break, cut him some slack.
Yeah, I think they're similar to Hibs fans. I think that a lot of supporters make their mind up early doors about people, and they don't want to be proven wrong. I think with Robbie Neilson, I thought he'd done really well. Got them out of the Championship, got them into the Premier League. I remember the plane flying over during one of the games. Neilson out, they're doing okay. I think obviously losing to Hibs when Hibs went on and won the Scottish Cup as well was a big blow for Robbie Neilson. But no, I think that Stephen Naismith deserves a lot of time. I think he's earned it. He's got head in the bank, Peter. He's got a tough run to start to the season. I don't see them beating Plzen. I think you look at Czech teams over the last 4 or 5 years. Sparta Prague, I think it was, beat Celtic home and away. Absolutely hammered them. Yeah. I think Slavia Prague beat Rangers in the Europa League as well. So I think the Czech teams are good sides, and I think the Hearts will struggle to beat them. They'll obviously go right into the Conference League. I think it'd be a big upset for me if Hearts turn over Plzen.
Yeah,
a big upset.
Yeah, I do as well. I think with both Edinburgh teams, I think maybe in the last 3 years there seems to be even more expectation on both clubs in terms of the transfer market and the league and the managers that have come in. I don't know if that's because obviously the financial backing then comes pressure to have that form of consistency. But I think with Naismith and David Gray, they both need time to get. For Naismith, he needs to mould this team because there is some really good players in there, and from a Hibs point of view, like we said earlier, letting him find his feet and getting the right side in place.
Okay, if we're slightly despondent about Viktoria Plzen against Hearts, where's your mood for Copenhagen against Kelly?
It could be one of the years where it's the right time to play Copenhagen. They obviously sneaked through the previous tie. Derek McInnes, week in, week out, we spoke about him producing results, what he done last week. So, again, I think the away ties, it's about staying in it, giving yourself a chance when you come, get them back home, and then having a game plan to maybe frustrate and set your set pieces and your counter attack then come into play.
Yeah, Killie legend Mark Roberts was speaking to Patrick Mullen this week. You can hear the extended interview on our YouTube channel. Of course, I think Mark Riley, like Scott Allen, would like to see the second leg alive so that Killie can really have a go at Copenhagen.
I think it is important. They'll be looking to get through Thursday night and still be in a position where the tie is still alive for them, taking them to Rugby Park. Kilmarnock do well normally at Rugby Park. I think they'll probably be a little bit disappointed with their domestic start, obviously, to the season. But normally they're quite difficult to play against at Rugby Park. So yeah, I think that is the big thing, keeping the tie alive so that they can bring Copenhagen to Rugby Park and still have an opportunity to get into the group stages.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to see. You want to see it alive for that second leg.
Yeah, and that's the difficult. We see it all along, Peter. That's why Kilmarnock was a great result away to Tromsø. There's not many of your teams go away from home and win in Europe. I think at home, fans behind them, you can get good results. And I'm talking about Celtic, Rangers as well, and the other teams. But away from home, I think it's always proven difficult to get results. So if they can go to Copenhagen, listen, win the games out of this world, draw the game, or even a 1-goal defeat, you just want to come back with a full Rugby Park and with a chance to get through. If they go away and get beat 2 or 3-0, then they're out.
Yeah, okay. Elsewhere, as far as that is concerned, Rory McKenzie, I think sharing your view on this, we want to see both sides in European football for as long as possible. I think like many a footballer, Rory McKenzie admits, you just get a different test.
No, I know. They were actually, the majority of the fans on Thursday there's a pub across the road from where we were staying, so we saw them at various points in the day, and they looked like they're having a ball. And for us as well, we just feel it feels different going away and training on a Wednesday night, just flying on a chartered plane. It's just something I've never experienced, and you feel like we are footballers, but you feel like a real footballer. The big ones, the big ones down south travelling, and doing everything right. Man, it's been a great experience.
Yeah, I love
feel
it.
like a superstar. You just said that, shouldn't you? That's what he was thinking.
I love Rory McKenzie, that's just great.
It just shows you, doesn't it? How you can tell just in his voice how excited he is for it. And these games don't come around often for a lot of Scottish players, so it'll be one he'll be really relishing.
Yeah. Have you ever come up against a player who? We're going to get your story in a minute, but have you ever come up against a player that you thought, I thought I was good, but this level is he's just doing me in?
Hundreds. Off the top of my head, I'll need to make a list.
Yeah?
I'll need to make a list. I'll bring it next week. No, none off it.
There must have been someone that gave you an absolute roasting.
Middle of the park. Different when you play number 10 though, isn't it? I've played like Vardy. I played against Vardy. One who maybe sticks out for Scotland 21s, and nobody could get near him.
No, he's a special player.
Him, Immobile, the striker that was at Lazio, and Insigne, I think I'm saying that right. He was at Napoli. They three in the same team. We played them at Easter Road with Scotland, and they hadn't lost a game in the whole campaign in the friendlies. And Verratti was playing number 6, I was playing number 10. And I didn't see the ball.
Tom?
Top of my head, probably Maravchik, but again I'm a striker, so I wasn't centre halves, but in terms of guys on the same pitch as either Maravchik or Mikel Arteta. We played Rangers at Ibrox, and I played up front myself, and it did Barry Ferguson and Arteta.
Yeah.
It was the two midfielders for Rangers, and Alec McLeish said to me, you need to drop into one of them. So basically when we never had the ball, we'd have men behind the ball, and I had to drop into one of them, hit the ball. And all I done all day, 65 minutes, then I get hooked, was just chase after Barry. He passed it to Arteta, he passed it back to Barry, couldn't get near them. So probably they two, or Maravchik when he was at Celtic.
Yeah. Were you breathing out your back end?
I was, aye. I mean, I think we only lost 2-1, but it could have been about 10-1 that day.
Yeah. You might as well tell, this is a great...
Rooney story?
Tell us the Rooney story.
Well, I've got two Rooney stories. I played against him twice. The first one, I was 20. I was at Hibs, and I'd just come back from a broken leg. I broke my leg in the January, and this was the start, pre-season, in the July. And we played Everton. Davy Moyes brought his team up, and it was a real proper England v Scotland game. It was no quarter given, no quarter asked, and we went 2-1 up. I came on and scored, and I celebrated as if I'd won a World Cup top off and all that, and a friendly, right, because I'd been out for 6 months. They equalised, and then about 10 minutes to go, Wayne Rooney was playing. He was 15, right, and he was like a bull. And he went in, and Gary Smith went in and just topped him. So it was a bit of a scuffle, and I've ran over to get involved, as I always did. And Wayne Rooney just got me in a headlock, like he's 15-year-old, right, and just got me in a headlock. I couldn't move. I thought, oh my God, he's going to strangle me. And then after the game, I came in, and the boys were giving me dog's abuse. A wee guy at 15 had you in a headlock, and all that, absolutely battered you. Thought you were football or not. So that was the first. That was the first one. The second one is about 7 years later. I'm playing in Scott Thompson, Nippers testimonial, Dunfermline v Man United, and Alec Ferguson brought up what a team he brought up: Vidic, PK, Scholes, Giggs, Rooney, Fletcher, and we were 3-0 down in the first half. And I got the ball in the halfway line, and I was picking it up to just pick a pass, and I heard it was yep, and I just passed it sideways without looking, because I thought it was one of your players, and it was Rooney. He ran all the way through and chipped dink to goalie. So after that, I've got a great picture of me and him cuddling, and he's just laughing, saying, I got you there. So that was the two stories with Wayne Rooney. But the first one, I knew he was destined for greatness. He was 15 years old playing in Everton's team, and I thought, what a football player he is. He's going to have a great career, and he did. He was world class. Yeah,
some people actually might view his line when he said, when I got into the Everton team I knew I was the best player, as a wee bit of arrogance. But I suppose if
16, youngest ever goal scorer in the Premier League.
If you're at that level and you know.
I always remember that was at the time, I must have been at third year at school, when you just started to get the videos in your phone. The Wayne Rooney one was one of the first videos that you got. I'm scoring that
against Arsenal.
And then obviously you go on to see the career he has, technical genius, along with all the other stuff. My favourite video was in the one when he's out in America and he runs 60 yards, wins the tackle, and then lasers one right
the back post.
It is the best example of a professional footballer to show you never give in.
100%.
You know, it's a brilliant video. Probably don't know this in joke, but Gary Connor does know. He's just sent us a message saying, Pedro, what number did Charlie Adam put on Matt O'Reilly?
350 grand.
It's 350 grand with add-ons of 50,000 if he makes a certain amount of appearances.
He priced Edward when he was going to say, because we were going 5 or 6 million, he's like, they'll get him for $1 million. He was just flabbergasted.
Charlie would sit here in the studio. It was just a brilliant.
Valuations were brilliant.
So anybody that was potentially going to be moving from Celtic, I'd say, Charlie, what do you think? And he says, we'll get him for $1 million, you know. And it was like, and maybe a couple of thousand add-ons, and then you go.
The feed was going mental.
We're all going bananas, and then he goes, I said, what about Morelos? Oh, easily. They've got 30 million for him, by the way. Honestly, see when he said it that day, I nearly fell off the chair. Charlie was absolutely top drawer. Thanks to so many people who mentioned, William Smith has just said 40 million for Morelos. Yeah, I remember it well, William. Charlie was absolutely top drawer. And Rooney was a special player. I think everybody is agreed on that. Just before we go, just a couple of quick things. Jamie Vardy's celebration to the Tottenham fans.
Yeah.
I love a noise up. I thought it was brilliant.
I think that's just Vardy, isn't it? He just looks like he's never changed. Still amazing in the box as well.
Yeah. Did you ever give anybody the
Nah,
fans?
No, I wasn't really like that. To be, I think off the top of my head, no, not really.
Tam
definitely. Tam was celebrating his top off in a friendly.
The lap dancing one with the pole, that was the best one.
Do you want to tell you something? Honestly, I put that in the list. We were talking about it on the Journos show. We're talking about the top 10 noise-ups, and I put Tam, Dundee United, swivels down pole in a provocative manner.
Yeah, that was it. Aye, because I was getting pelts off of Dundee United fans for going to the strippers the week before. The story's online, Scott. I know, it's a great story, mate. And so I get fined 2 weeks. Well, I get fined a week's wages a week before, and then I get fined a week's wages for the celebration.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm toasting beans for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, one of the finest pole dancers you're ever likely to see on this show. I often try and cover as many football stories as possible, get the lads' thoughts on it, because it is, after all, the only thing missing is a pint on this programme where we can shoot the breeze and have a laugh about these things. But on a sad note, and really I think it's well worthy of a mention, Sven-Göran Eriksson, I think he's recorded a video, and I have to say, absolutely gutted, because he just said, I had a good life. I think we're all scared of the day when we die, but life is about death as well. You have to learn to accept it for what it is. Hopefully at the end people will say, yeah, he was a good man, but not everyone will say that. I hope you'll remember me as a positive guy, trying to do everything he could do. Don't be sorry, smile. Thank you for everything, coaches, players, the crowds. It's been fantastic. Take care of yourself and take care of your life and live it. Bye.
Really sad. I mean, for anyone in particular, who's coming to the end of their life with cancer, whatever it is, it's really, really sad to see that. Sven was a flamboyant character. He did live his life. And he lived it mostly in the tabloids. England manager, great managerial career. Seems a fun guy as well. So no, I've seen that today as well. Really, really sad to see someone like that going to pass away.
And a wee touch of class from David Beckham going over as well with a bottle of wine. And just seeing his old gaffer.
Yeah, I think that's a touch of class, but it obviously shows the measure of the man, that how highly he was regarded by Beckham and probably the rest of his England teammates, like Tam says as well. It's just really sad, and it's something that comes to us all, but it's never easy.
Yep, absolutely. I didn't want to end it on a sombre note, but I think on reflection you get a chance to see some managers at their absolute peak. You see them at club level and you see them at international level. And Sven-Göran Eriksson managed to achieve one of his dreams, managing a Liverpool Legends team at Anfield as well. I think a lot of people will look back with not only great sadness that he's passing away, but fondness at his contribution to football. And on behalf of everybody in the football show, I think we pass on again our best wishes to Sven at these last few moments of his life. The football show, if you get a chance, if you love football, if you love the banter, we do ask you to try and share our YouTube video with your friends. If you get a chance, hit the subscribe button. It only takes you 2 seconds. the one key element that we would like to emphasise to you is it's absolutely free, and thank you for the support that we've got over the course of last season and this season. We'd like to make a few signings. It could be difficult in the negotiations for Lennon back on a Monday, Tam, but we're
I don't think he'll be back to Romania until he's got his suitcase full of euros.
Who am I? Who am I?
Summed up.
That's exactly it. I think
emptying all your clothes out and just all your euros.
Absolutely. Just I'm not taking any clothes back with me.
Just be training gear, he's not.
I don't think it'll be too long before you and I will be. Well, definitely me.
We were planning to go over and see a game or not?
I know we were actually going to go over and see.
Kelty now for you two boys.
Yes, definitely Kelty. Yeah, give each other a high six. Anyway, on that note, thanks to everyone for watching the show. See you later.